So welcome back. Today I wanted to speak about the trap. And basically this is an analogy, like most things are. In words, to try to bring things into words is difficult. And so we use analogies which are powerful. And this particular one is called the trap because I think I derived it from, I think it was a Star Trek series or something. And in this Star Trek series, I think it was Captain Janeway or something. And they got trapped in a nebula. So it's a nebula trap. And what happened was that basically the nebula was so attractive for people that were coming along in space, traveling. And then they never saw these phenomena before. And so they were attracted to the phenomena. And when they went into the nebula, they would basically be co-opted. And whatever they tried to get out of the nebula, the illusions just kept warping and changing so that they could never get out. And this is kind of an analogy that's quite accurate when it comes to what some would call the divine Leela, or the game, or this holographic simulation maze labyrinth. In a way, everything that is form, everything that is a thing, is within this Leela, this divine Leela, this trap, this maze, this labyrinth. And whenever someone wants to return home to the original pristine, pure state of pure potential in the void as eternity, or the unformed, the uncreated, and something is preventing you or me or everybody to get out. In other words, we're entrapped in some kind of holographic simulation trap in which there's an infinite amount of diversions. In other words, wherever you come in the labyrinth, you get stuck. So you go around the corner, you find parties, you find wanting to become a millionaire, or you want to go travel the world, or you become a philosopher, or you end up going into endless discussions and theories, or you become whatever. You want to be all the myriads of infinite possibilities that we see around us, where people can be lost in forever. I mean, I see people that are bike racers or something, or another person might be just collecting stamps or something. There's literally an infinite amount of possibilities, including philosophy, including theorizing, including spiritual paths, including finding out about ancient technologies or which civilizations lived here first. And it's all part of this trap to make sure that whatever you do, not to allow anyone to leave the nebula, to leave the trap, because the system, let's say, is living off of the energy of the Isbis, of these light beings. And so when you're in the trap, the very system is incorporating your energy field and all of your ideas and growing. So the entire system is kind of like living off of the inhabitants or the prisoners of that system. And so whatever it wants to do, when it finds out, when the Matrix realizes somebody is about to get out and figure out that stillness is the way, that nothing is the void, that reality is the eternal place of pure silence and stillness and peace, true rest, true love, true harmony, right? Then it notices that you're coming too close to the edge of the nebula, and the Matrix has a way of sensing and recognizing these spikes in the system, and it will do something, it will send something your way to make sure that you get entrapped again, snared again by something that interests you. And before you know it, you're philosophizing again, you're discussing again, you're busy with a bunch of new plans for your existential life, just to make sure that you get to the end of your physical life. And then when you die, you go towards the light and you recycle back into the system in a new baby body, so that you keep stuck and cycling and cycling and cycling and cycling. Because the one thing that this system doesn't want is for anyone to escape. And that way, it can be called a prison planet. I mean, and I'm not saying absolutely that it's that way, it's just an analogy. It could be said that a voluntary system is just Brahman that creates for itself this divine Leela play and loves just existing. And one thing it doesn't want to do is kind of allow you to look back at its original source, which is what we are, which is everything. And then the objects that come out of it are basically keep dancing on the stage of life, of existence, of form, of change, of ever changing different fractals of timelines and whatever you want to call it. So The trap really is everything. The trap is that what you see in the discussions on Facebook and on YouTube and on most of the things that are going on, even for the most intelligent people out there that have figured things out, what is coming to is they're still busy. Like I'm busy now making this video. It's still in this existence, you see? It's still not nothing. It's still something. It's still, you know, explaining things and describing things and putting into words and trying to figure out the best way, when really the only thing is stillness. The only thing is to get out of the trap. Otherwise, we just keep in philosophy and theory and meditation, in satsangs, in retreats, in whatever you're getting involved in, just over and over and over. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, in the sense that existence is also part of that thing. Apparently, this is Brahman doing it. This is the divine Leela. This is the play. This is the matrix. This is the holographic simulation, which is created by itself, by the source itself, to experience itself in infinite ways. But for those who want to actually find that peace, be the peace, it is a question of recognizing that anything that moves, any thought, any idea, any necessity, any drive, any urge, anything that makes you move around and go somewhere and be involved with things, with objects, with the formal world, is in a way a distraction from resting as the source and getting out into the pure, pristine void of pure consciousness, back to the source, which is what we call enlightenment or realization or liberation, and all these fancy words that describe the resting beyond objects, beyond things, beyond formality, beyond existence, beyond the created, but just returning to your source, which is at peace, which is in harmony, which is ever still, the uncreated. So, it's funny, isn't it? Doing, doing, doing in an attempt to undo, when really all there is to do nothing without doing that. Get out of the trap. Be still. Be now. Drop the necessity to focus on things. Rest as that which you are already, without having to do anything.